Recently, I've been playing The Witcher 3 for the third time. You know how it is. And I got to a point in the Hearts of Stone DLC that I didn't remember at all. At least, I didn't remember the writing. Or maybe I didn't understand it before. So here's the sitch. You go to this Runewright guy that's supposed to give you new game mechanics. You get to his camp and you realize that he comes from Ophir, which is a land in the Witcher universe loosely based on southeastern Europe and the Middle East. And turns out he doesn't have the necessary materials to continue his craft. So instead of learning new game mechanics, you sit down to talk. And also there is a merchant next to him that you can also talk to, and he can tell you more about Ophir.
A land it is of vast steppes, mountains forbidding, lakes clear as crystal, and wild lands untouched. A land of fallen empires, kingdoms at their peak, and tribes that know no monarchs, yet remember in myth a time when the world was young.
Within a couple minutes of just talking to them, I took like a dozen screenshots just to save the individual lines of dialogue. And I've never done that before in any of my playthroughs. I've never noticed things that I did this time. Starting from just their greeting, which is praise the world in its never-ending creation.
Greetings. Greetings, and praise the world in its never-ending creation.
Just that line itself is crazy. Just that line is worth the price of the entire game. What this line represents, especially used as a greeting, is that everything passes, which is like the main idea of Stoicism, and also that people need to adapt to the current tides of time, because it's not like the world is finished, stable, unchanged, and unchangeable. The fact that it is changeable should be praised and understood deeply from our earliest years. That's something that Steve Jobs talked about, for example.
Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it, you can influence it, you can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it. That's maybe the most important thing.
Like, we all know this subconsciously, but to use this as a greeting that reminds you every day that we all influence the universe and take part in its creation, in its never-ending creation, is crazy to me, and absolutely genius from the writers.
Don't take this the wrong way, but honestly, world doesn't deserve much praise.
Nordlings. Disagreeable always. Faces crinkled, soured, ready to quibble to death even a simple greeting.
A little bit after that, we get this gem.
A life of plenty I would have lived at home, for the beauty and import of my art are respected. But such a life would be unfulfilled. Great and diverse is the world, for a pace continues its creation. A riddle it is, which through symbols speaks. The world's tongue to learn I wish, the signs by which it speaks to discover, their syntax to master, through this to learn the principles of creation.
These few lines of dialogue can change your entire perception of the concept of creation, that it doesn't start or stop, that everything you've ever learned or been through was the world speaking its language and discovering it, trying to understand how to transform parts of the things you come across in your life, ideas, people, events, into your creation is worth more than learning any new software or technique.
You're a long way from Ophir.
A long way and with dangers fraught. But in our homeland they say, in risk there is honor.
Got a ring to it. Not true in my experience, though. Faced plenty of risks. Honor, not so much.
Because risk issues from intent. Important is this intent, the long passage I brave to admire the unknown and bring glory to myself and my liege.
I learned as much from these lines as I would from an entire self-help book or a long podcast. And I was able to come to conclusions myself. And that got me thinking. There's this notion thrown around by some people, especially as advice, like don't read fiction, don't indulge in any fictional stories, and so on. But what really is fiction? Well, in my opinion, it's just a literary device to give advice in a more engaging way. Not literally, not in bullet points, but throughout a particular story.
Quite the mount you've got.
Ah, yes. A loyal friend I have in Babietza, and she is wiser than many a man.
People have been telling stories for thousands of years. It's so human, we can't stop doing it. And to say that fiction is somehow lesser than non-fiction, why? Fiction allows the author to express all of the lessons they've learned throughout life, every idea they love, and deeper spiritual values in one new engaging story that you remember more than any list of bullet points, because you have to use your imagination. It's the same way with remembering song lyrics. You can probably recite a few tracks from memory, but if you try to learn the same amount of words just in plain text, it's so much harder. It seems almost impossible. That's why stories are a great device, because you absorb them more easily and more deeply. People have known this for centuries, since ancient times. Don't let anyone tell you that you're a lesser person because you like them.
Our myths tell of a time when love brought together the skies and the steppe, and from their union was born the first mare. Weak were the creatures called men. They fell prey to countless dangers. The mare nursed them, her milk fed them. Strong they grew, and she let them saddle her. Warriors they became, and gave fight to their foes. The myths teach us to respect our horses, noblest among all beasts.
Beautiful story. Thanks for that and the race.